I'm sorry, I think I left a few pieces out that I need to actually go back to because it's an important word, if not a concept of the Course. So the whole idea that the Course uses in this return from a state of mindlessness in a magical world to the memory of God and the return to the state of non-duality, that this whole process is called forgiveness. And so forgiveness, what it really means is that I'm unlearning what I've taught myself, that this is me, that you're the source of my problems, and source of my problems can also be myself, but by implication I'm blaming my DNA and my socialization. But I can say that my suffering and my upset is caused by my heart, is caused by my stomach, or is caused by the economy, is caused by the weather, is caused by the thread count in my sheets, and all that is saying that there's something that's not me that's causing me my suffering. So well, I'm unlearning that in the process called forgiveness, which is to understand no harm is being done here. And actually no harm is being done here because I'm imagining it. The state of forgiveness is actually to remember that I always get what I want. And that if I have suffering and fear and pain, it's only that way because I want it that way. And I finally began to understand why it's there, that it is completely imagined to make nothing seem viable enough to block out the memory of God. So that whole process for the Course is called forgiveness. And it's important to remember, too, the difference between our brain and our mind. Brain is of the body. Mind is of the abstraction in terms of a teaching, learning tool. Everything here can be used as a teaching, learning tool in a classroom that brings us back to here and where things can be solved. So here I've got my brain, and the best I can use is my brain and my brain chatter to understand this. Here is mind and thought. So please don't confuse mind as being in the world. Mind is outside the world. Mind imagines first guilt, and then in the strategy of coping with that guilt, imagines a world where it seems to dilute it, project it, disown it, and keep it in play without having to experience it. So in the mind, there are only two thoughts, and only one of them is real. This is the made-up thought of guilt, and this is the thought of no fulfilling an empty void. It's, again, the right mind, the Holy Spirit, which has no reason to be dealt with. Peace doesn't need strategies and techniques to be dealt with. It's very easy then to know where it comes from because there is nothing blocking out where it comes from. So the two thoughts are really the imagined guilt and letting go of guilt. And by default then, since there is nothing to detract and block out the experience of love, that's what it comes to be. So forgiveness, thoughts, mind. What else am I leaving out? I'll probably think of it another time. This is why we have our weekly class, because even though it's very simple, we make it complicated by constant denial, constant complexity that we impose, all for the purpose of feeling special and feeling forgiven, feeling unique. Part of the magic world, too, is that our body is magic. It's an attempt to deal with guilt and terror at a place that it doesn't exist, although it's very convincing to think that it does exist here. But part of the magic is oxygen, part of the magic is water, part of the magic is all of the things that occur in the world, in our experience, and beyond the world. So part of the magic, too, is the Course. The Course never has the power. Nothing in this world ever has the power. Nothing in a separated state has any power. The only power is the power of the real mind, of real God, of non-duality that simply extends itself, and all it is love. So you can tell in some ways our fascination with the rejection of it, because then we can make up a dream world that seems to have a great deal of meaning and a really intense problem solving that occupies us from day in and day out. And so I hope that we've covered it, but if not, we'll continue the discussion. Thank you.